What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Big Think Dimension, the only gaming podcast for the modern giga-brained gamer. I'm your host, Dan Video Games, and with me, as always, our online co-host, KZ Excellent from kzexcellent.com.
Hi, I live in a society.
And Mr. Field from Mr. Field's Wild Ride.
This really says a lot about our society.
And Bob.
PS5.
From GigaBoots.com. We got a lot to talk about this week, so we should just get right into it. What have you guys been playing?
Before we start, I have a written apology that I have to read.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Dear Dan and Bob Video Games, I am deeply sorry I forced you to watch Twilight. That was wrong of me. It was not right. Even if I also suffered, it was still incredibly brutal. I am deeply sorry. I thought that movie would have something of value in it, instead of just being 3 hours of confusing cuts and bad color grading. And I also have one for KZ. KZ, I'm sorry I T-boned the end of the show you hosted that will go up next week. Unfortunately, I believe that sentence died in the crash. At the very least, it will not be walking again anytime soon.
Well, not to worry. I accept your apology. I've also written an apology for Dan and Bob as well.
Lots of apologizing going on this week.
Okay, go.
Dearest Daniel and Bobbert, I apologize for being tricked by Mr. Field to make you watch Twilight. It's unfortunate that sometimes the heroic KZ just has a conversation with him and goes, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And then it isn't a good idea at all. As recompense, I at least edited the podcast so there was less blood involved at the end of the show.
That's true.
I'm also no longer on a Nutri-Grain kick.
Oh, that's good.
Good for you.
Good. You know, it's good that you're moving on. Moving up in the world.
You know, I think that thing was right. That hard drive tweet, gaming comedy podcast, now 2 solid hours of incomprehensible inside jokes.
I have no idea why people would think of this podcast when they read that tweet.
I have no idea why everyone is tweeting that at you today.
I don't understand it at all. So instead of wondering about it any longer, I'm going to say, I don't forgive, I don't forget. Look forward to the worst Lumelin film.
Whatever, you're a petty cunt.
You absolutely deserve the sword of digestive calmness, and I hope you fucking suffer.
It can't be worse than Twilight. It cannot be worse than Twilight.
You'll wish for fucking death, man. That movie's bad. I've seen people leave that film and look ill. Like, they look pale in the
excited.
face.
Hey, if something gets bad enough, I just start disassociating.
I look forward to that. Anyway, let's
it's
talk.
Like, why is KZ's track empty for the next 40 minutes? What happened?
It's almost like he walked away, and that people should call him out as a coward for doing this. Hey, Bob, what have you been playing over the last week?
No, because we'll still hear him mumbling.
But before we even get into that, maybe we should talk about the RSS feed.
Why can't I get to anything? Fine. So the podcast is now syndicated with an RSS feed on Podbean. If you look in the description, you can find the RSS feed. It is currently getting processed by all the different podcasting services like iTunes, Google Play Store, Spotify, and some other thing. I don't know. I feel like there was one more, but I don't remember. But there are a lot.
Crunchyroll.
Yeah, it's probably Crunchyroll. We're probably on there. Bob, say the word anime.
Anime.
There we go. We're on Crunchyroll. That's how
we'll talk about Dragon Ball later.
I'm excited for the Bleach podcast.
I'm just going to add the dun 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 sound to my Stream Deck, and now we're an anime channel. That's how it works. You know what?
You need that button.
That would be the funniest shit in the
You're
world.
only an anime channel if you talk about wrestling enough.
Oh my fucking god damn it.
So WrestleMania happened recently.
It would be the funniest shit in the world if we could get the Bleach podcast sponsored by Crunchyroll.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
No, it couldn't be sponsored by Crunchyroll. I don't think they have Bleach anymore because Funimation ditched them.
Oh,
no, they were Funimation.
They could still just sponsor a fucking podcast.
Get Bleach?
I thought Funimation was Bleach. I thought all that shit was Funimation. For some reason, I just think all Shonen Jump shows are Funimation.
Yeah, somehow Funimation slept on Naruto and Bleach. They really missed out.
I mean, either way, Crunchyroll puts in ad money for anime podcasts all the time, but that's enough talk. Bob, What have you been playing
Hey, Dan,
over the
can I
last...
interrupt you?
No, you're disallowed. If we can't even get out of the intro, how the fuck are we gonna get through the PS5
Right.
news? Holy shit. Bob, what have you been
Oh,
playing?
I'm gonna shut the fuck up when that happens.
Bob, what have you been playing?
Mr. Phil interrupts Dan to say he won't interrupt Dan. We've reached it. We've peaked.
So I've been playing since Ninja Gaiden 2
Amazing!
came to Xbox 360 or Xbox One back compat.
It's on back compat.
So now you can play it in 4K.
Stunning 4K for Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2.
No, regular 2, not
Oh,
Sigma
regular
2.
2, sorry.
I also played Sigma 2 to
On the
compare
PS3.
directly on the
A
PS3.
lowly 720p.
How dare it?
Disgusting.
720p
Is that
in
even,
2019.
is that even a video game?
Well, Dan's telling me that the 720p isn't even a video game, so I don't know. I can't say anymore.
Ignore the fact Metal Gear Solid 4 is 540p. Thank you.
But Ninja Gaiden 2 is like really, really clearly rushed. Like I felt that even when it came out back in the day. It just feels unbalanced and just bad in a lot of ways.
Watching Bob go through this, it's hilarious because their idea of combat level design is there are fucking 3 melee ninjas and 2 archers in this tiny hallway. Fuck you.
Yeah, no, its idea of hard is just, oh yeah, there's 3 guys in the background shooting you with arrows and you're fighting. It's like, it's awful.
The
It's
thing that always kind of
lazy.
put me off those games,
Mhm.
like I've played through all 3 once, a couple twice,
yeah.
but it's just like there's no consistency about anything. It's like, okay, now you're in a super cyberpunk Tokyo skyscape fighting ninjas. Then it's like now you're on a storage plane and a giant turtle made of bombs rolls at you and you fall out of the plane and fight him on a volcano.
That
Yeah,
sounds pretty cool.
And I'm just standing there like, what's the theme of this game?
They made a lot of assets. And
They
should
made
all
a
be in
bunch
this
of
one
shit,
game.
and it all connects via loading screens.
Ninja Gaiden 2 also has that really shitty rival character with one of the worst designs I've ever seen.
You don't like Genshiken?
No, I think he sucks.
He's so-
I don't even know if
he's
that's
so
his name.
raw,
I'm just
though.
thinking about the spider-looking guy.
Yeah, the spider ninja has got like the hair that bulges out of the back of his head around his headband and has a like chainmail that's torn up and super tight so you can see how ripped he is.
So the original release of this isn't very polished or very well balanced, but that's what's available now in 4K on the Xbox One X and in
which
higher resolution in the Xbox One. What were you gonna say, Bob?
Which it got a lot of backlash when Sigma came out. Like a lot of people really stand up for the original release.
Because Sigma is easier, so their pride was hurt that the game was made easier by being properly balanced.
Sigma's balanced it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's frustrating. They even like fully remodel certain things for Sigma. Like when you get in level 2, you pick up the glaive, like the melee weapons where you have hand claws.
Okay. Yeah.
So in the original release, you go in this room, you
Yeah.
don't see them at all. The back of the room just looks empty. But if you walk away to the back of the room, you turn to this tiny little nook. It's like a kitchen nook almost that you can't see from the entrance. And then on the inside wall of that nook, they're hiding the item. I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, they tricked you. That's good level design because you couldn't see it easily. It looked like there was nothing in the room.
Environmental storytelling.
Yeah, and then once you walk
You had
around,
to
get
look
up.
real hard for the weapon that you wanted.
That's earning it.
Yeah, you could just walk right by that, not get it at all.
So how's this rectified in Sigma, Bob?
In Sigma, you walk in that room, they're in a shrine at the end of the side of the room, so you just see them immediately.
And it looks cool, and it's not just sitting on the floor in a random nook.
Yes.
Whoa.
It's not insane.
That's crazy.
And then immediately when you leave that room in the regular version, you're shot by like 3 ninjas at the end of a hallway that's at the side of this combat area. And then the combat area is right where you step out. So you just have to do the combat area while you're constantly getting shot by ninjas. You run over and kill those guys, but they keep respawning archer ninjas.
This sounds great.
So in the remake, that hallway just is closed. There's a door. And you fight the guys in the combat arena, and then that opens up and you go deal with the archer guys after that.
Whoa.
It's like, okay, this makes any sort of sense.
Maybe the guy who explicitly said whenever a tester said something was too hard, he made it harder is kind of shitty at game design.
Was that Nidagaki himself?
Yes.
Of course it was.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
That dude. Ugh.
So how did I remember that they changed the way bows work in Sigma. Was it like you just have infinite arrows in Sigma
they
and you don't in
Ninja Gaiden 2
original?
regular, the arrows are awful. You need to go into a menu to select them. You select to equip your bow, and then it replaces your shuriken button, which is like the B button, with shooting an arrow. And he just shoots it, and that's it. It auto aims. If you hold the button down, you can aim it manually, but it's really awkward.
Okay.
So in Sigma, it just put it on the R2 button.
Oh.
You shoot arrows with the R2. You have the circle button does your shuriken still, and then you
Okay.
can hold the L2 button to like go into third person aiming with your bow and arrow. It's like, okay, this feels like a real mechanic of this game now.
That's done.
I remember there being something though where like you had to scavenge. There was a boss where you needed arrows, so there's just a body with infinite arrows in the boss arena, like a corpse
that may have been
you could
Ninja Gaiden
forever
1.
loot for arrows.
Because the Ninja Gaiden 1 did that where it was a dude on a horse and there was a body with arrows in it, and that was hilarious.
Yeah, I remember that body.
I definitely
with arrows
remember
in it.
being part of 2. I think it might be the literal almost final boss of 2.
That's
Where
funny.
that's a thing.
There's a lot of things, like even in regular Ninja Gaiden 2, where there's just, here's a pile of infinite arrows.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think they did something in Sigma to not need you to constantly loot them during a fight, though. So I forget what they did.
'Cause
they might have just made them infinite during certain segments.
maybe, because you have like 30 to start with in both versions. But of course, I've only played the first 2 levels again recently.
Right.
I'm going off very old
Memory.
memories.
Yeah. Real quick, before we move on, Bob,
What's
like
up?
at any point, I just want to make sure we get this out. You were talking about, like, you know, a lot of people came away from Ninja Gaiden 2 being like, it's kind of not finished. It seems unpolished or weirdly designed. You were saying there was a controversy, allegedly, that Itagaki...
Oh, yeah. Shortly after, Itagaki quickly left the company.
Yeah, because
like,
Ninja
days
Gaiden
after
2
the
comes
launch.
out. He leaves Tecmo back then, like shortly after the launch of Ninja Gaiden 2. What was it?
There was some sort of sexual harassment allegations, but that all seems like it just sort of disappeared shortly thereafter
Ruh-roh.
too. And it was
Wow, that guy? Wow, really?
Yeah.
Never would have guessed.
the guy who wears
Allegedly.
really dumb shades and wears a leather jacket and made the titty fighter?
yeah.
Look, you can
Allegedly.
respect.
He
Look,
allegedly made that.
just
Allegedly
made-
made that all.
look, before we move on, I just want to clarify.
Itagaki sexually harassed Mrs. Fields.
What,
You just
Mrs.
say Mrs. Feel.
I was like, you got cucked? What?
Mrs. Fields, you know, who makes cookies.
Oh no!
'Cause he's an oatmeal cookie.
Oh no!
What is this?
No, whatever. We're not. We're moving
You're
on.
not allowing this to happen.
No.
You're sandbagging this one.
So I'm just gonna say, look, you could be into the titty fighter and respect women. I'm just saying that guy clearly.
I mean, that guy's always got like he sits there and tries to
Game
pick
Informer gave
fights.
Dead or Alive 4 like the 28th best fight, that's like the 20th best fighter ever made in their most recent issue.
Ugh, God.
What were you saying, Bob?
That Itagaki, when he was actually in the industry, was weird and picked fights with Kamiya and all sorts of other stuff like
yeah,
that.
that's right. He was a weird rock star mentality. I'm above this shit. I'm gonna pick fights with people, sort of thing. I forgot about that.
It was
yeah.
it was strange.
Kamiya is still in the industry with his highly regarded company. Where's Itagaki? Oh,
Now's a great time to tell them, Bob.
Yeah, what's this other game I have sitting on my desk?
You guys, we got it.
Oh.
We got a fucking copy of Devil's Third.
oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm really
wow.
excited.
Oh God!
You know,
Is
they
that
say,
after Lords of Shadow 2?
they call it Valhalla Industries because after you play the game, you die and go to heaven.
Is this like Too Human?
Definitely.
It actually, yeah. You know what? It really is kind of like that tier of legendarily bad.
Only they didn't have to do a lawsuit to get it taken off the market. It just happened.
It just happened naturally. It's one of the few games Nintendo's ever published where they was sent out, what was it, like 12,000 physical copies? That's it. They're like, fucking contract. Shit.
No, they weren't going to. They did because people complained.
Yeah. It's
Like 2 months before it came out, they were like, we're not
digital only in
printing this."
America. And they were like,
And people
no.
said, what the fuck? That's bullshit. And then none of those people bought it because the game sold like 3 copies.
Yeah. For a bit there, it was actually a little expensive to get your hands on a copy.
I mean, now it's still sitting at like $50 for most online resellers and stuff. So it's still high up there, but it's not like crazy like it was. Like I think we were seeing $70 or $80 before.
Did you play anything else,
I bet
Bob?
that game's great.
You're probably right, Casey.
It's probably amazing. Looking forward to it. I actually am. I've been waiting years for this.
But yeah, I don't. That's the main thing. I played a tiny bit of Katana Zero. I want to play more of that before I talk about it. So probably next week I'll talk about Katana Zero. It just came out on PC and Steam, PC and Switch today.
Okay.
One more thing on Ninja Gaiden. I feel like we really need to remake a Sigma where they just put the violence back in. I think that's the other thing people like got super upset about Sigma 2 about, because that's the one that's like all censored and energy comes out, guys, when you cut them off.
Sigma is the one where it's like because you can just dismember enemies in Vanilla 2, and in Sigma 2 it's smoke.
Yeah, it's purple smoke. It's something they clearly did to not get the Z rating in Japan, but it still got them an N rating in the US, so it really made no sense.
Yeah. It made sense for Japan, but not for America.
Oh.
Yeah. Maybe someday they'll remember they own that IP and do something with it. But
I mean, Muramasa shows up in Neo. It's the same dude. He's just like, yeah, I guess I've been alive for over 400 years.
So, KZ, what you been playing over the last week? I hear you got a Let's Play going.
Oh yeah, I'm prepping Final Fantasy 15. So I started playing that again. Now that it's done, all of the updates for that game are out. I'm having a good time with it.
Oh, cool.
I was going through it, actually exploring it a bit more, because I feel like whenever I hit an open world game, I kind of run to every objective possible and don't really take time to really look at anything. And I'm having a good time checking everything out. It's reminding me of, oh man, these loads. when you load an open world area for the first time and it's 75 to 80 seconds long.
Man, load times are really bad this gen. I wonder if anything next gen will fix that.
If only I was the last person to say what I've been playing this week, you might have a segue.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want,
If only.
I can edit this so that way it goes in a different order. Here's my
Why don't
clean.
you mark the file? Because that's all I played besides Joker.
I'm just gonna. Here we go. I'm marking it. This is Hollywood magic. This definitely won't make it into the final file. That's not the bit here. Hey, Phil, now that Bob is done talking, what did you play in the last week?
Bob?
So I didn't play a whole lot. I'm gonna own myself here. On Friday, I went to GameStop and bought some stuff because they had their Dares to Play sale going.
Yeah.
I wanted to get Uncharted 4, but they didn't have it, so I got a $20 PSN card to get it digitally.
I wanted to get Uncharted 4, but I bought 4 copies of Uncharted.
Almost that bad.
Thank you, Daniel Lamont.
Huge Uncharted fan, excited to play it for the first time.
I bought Dragon Quest Builders, which I haven't played yet, and I wanted to get Valkyria Chronicles 4. I accidentally bought Valkyria Revolution because I got confused because there's 3 games that have come out in the last 2 years with Valkyria in the title. There's Valkyria Revolution.
This is the real Kino one.
Black Rose Valkyrie, and then Valkyria Chronicles 4. So I had to go return that today, by the way, which I did.
Good.
And then I pre-ordered Days Gone #FreakerGang.
#FreakerGang.
But I've been playing Uncharted 4.
How's that going?
I wish there was a camera on KZ's face because I'm about to say something insane.
Okay.
Oh.
The game, the shooting and the combat is so good it makes the other parts of that game seem worse.
You're right. I narrowed my eyes. I'm doing that Keenan gif.
Yeah, you are.
Cause the other 2 parts are exactly as good as they've been in every other Uncharted game. The climbing and the puzzles.
Have you gotten to the hook mechanic for the climbing?
Yeah,
little-
I'm most
okay.
of the way through. I'm like on chapter 17 of 20.
Oh wow, yeah. You're pretty far in. I don't know. I thought the open world moment with all the different islands and you taking the ship around was a pretty great moment. Like I really enjoyed
yeah,
that.
that was cool, but just the segments of like climb for 20 minutes, I'm like, yeah, but the combat is so good. It's like a exponential increase from 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, 3's combat was criticized a decent bit when it came out. 3 in
'Cause
general was criticized a decent bit.
You can do the big jumping action hero punches.
Yeah,
Got,
Those are raw. I love those.
yeah, they're great.
Naughty Dog is the only developer that has can have action games with a stealth element that doesn't make me feel like I'm playing it wrong if I do everything stealth or get caught and fight somebody or just decide to fight everybody.
Yeah.
Even The Last of Us, like if you get caught, it doesn't feel like you're wrong.
Yeah, I feel like you waste.
So I've been highly enjoying that. I do think it's funny because the last Uncharted game I played was 3, and I didn't play the remakes at all, the remasters rather.
Yeah.
So in between those times being told about how it autocorrects your platforming,
Mm-hmm.
and now I just can't unsee it every time it does that.
No, it's fine.
I know,
I never
but
knew that.
It's yeah, they do it because if you jump at a slightly wrong angle, it'll like magnetize you to the next thing.
Oh, good. I would like to not eat shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's fine. I think most people had more of an issue with Sucker Punch when they did the first Infamous game. Like, you land on the poles, and some people thought that the magnetism there was a little too strong.
I wouldn't
I
notice
really
if
like
somebody
that game.
hadn't told me. I just think it's fun now to be able to see.
Oh, yeah. Be like, I should have eaten shit there. Oh, well. What was it in the first... Okay, so this is a fucking incredible moment in gaming. In the first Crash Bandicoot game, they extended the contact zone of every floor, every ledge, a little bit further than it looks like it is. So that way, if you jumped a little late, you were still fine. You had to jump way too late, and then you would run off the ledge. And the reason they did that is they were like, well, the angle the camera's at, people may not understand like where your feet's hitting the ground. Just give it a little bit more ledge. When they went to remaster that shit, they did it based on the original visual geometry.
Oh, that's what screwed it up.
That's what made it that much harder because they didn't extend
They also changed
the surface area. Yeah.
There was also like, wasn't it like your collision box in the original was square, and then in the remakes it's pill shaped? Which is why you get videos of somebody just standing on a surface and then sliding off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, that bridge level with the turtles. I had to scum it out and run across the rope the entire way, which is something you can do.
Yeah. I've done that like once, I think. Yeah, that remaster was maybe not the best, but it was all right. It was okay. As I understand it, the Spyro remaster is a much better affair.
The Spyro remaster is incredible. I can't wait to play it without a minute and a half loading every time I switch stages.
Now, if only there was some sort of news we had about...
But Danny, we haven't heard what you played yet.
Oh, that's a good point. So I played Smash Brothers with the new character Joker. As it turns out, it just came out the day before this recording. KZ, Feel, Bob, you all played as Joker as well, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they also added stage creation. Did any of you mess around with that?
Yes.
For 1 second.
I made a stage.
I'm pretty impressed with the stage builder. I think it's pretty good. I'm sure whatever KZ made was fine.
What?
Are you going to send it to us,
What do you
KZ?
mean, oh no, Bob?
Are you going to send it?
KZ's very excited to send it into our new live show series, We Smash on Your Levels, where we play, where we fight
cannons.
each other. Oh,
no. I'm using the warp portal mechanic.
I do love the portal.
Yeah.
Can you have multiple
Pretty good.
portals?
Yeah, you can have
good.
multiple portals.
Good.
Yep.
I decided to make, I'm like, what if Final Destination, like right above the top middle, there's a portal that took you to the very bottom of the stage, so you just fall. Or
It's perfect.
if you were going off the edge, you would go toward the one on the bottom to save yourself. That's
also good. I like that a lot.
I'm watching AI do it right now. They're not having a good time.
But yeah, I think all the additions they did with the new version are really incredible. I think Joker's cool as shit, but I can't play as him. He's got a bit too much setup in the way he works, and I find it hard to out people when I don't have my persona.
He's too big brain.
I saw Joker do a edge guard where he just jumps and does the fucking guns while the person's trying to get back onto the stage, and I'm like, this is infuriating.
Yeah, no, that's
like
fair.
that and him trying to do the hook shot to get back on the stage, but it's a peach, so he just took the fucking turnip and died.
That hurts.
What was it in the classic mode? If you finish the enemies with your final smash, it can soft lock the game.
Yeah, if you because it doesn't know how to deal with the custom victory
with
screen,
the custom victory
which
screen.
seems like something they should have tested.
Oh, I'm sure it's something they tested, and they're like, we got to get this update out.
Strangely enough, we streamed it and did that, and it didn't happen. Like, we somehow...
What's up?
We streamed it.
Did you win with
yeah.
it?
We won with it.
We
You have
won
to
with
win
it.
with
Yeah.
Yeah, we won.
You can go back
Maybe,
and check
I guess
our
it could
stream.
just happen.
Might be
I
a
guess it
random thing,
only
but I
happened-
imagine it'll
yeah.
be ironed out in a couple days.
Yeah, it was
It'll
still a
probably get
rough
hot
transition. Because,
Yeah, it was. It was
because-
bizarre.
Yeah, it was funny. But yeah, aside from Joker, I haven't really played anything. I think his level's great. And I like the music they chose.
Yep.
Probably going to be playing a lot of that level and not a whole lot of Joker, but I'm glad to have bought him either way because I love how they support these games. I love the Mii Fighter stuff that you can download characters. There were at least 40 Gokus on day 1 hour in. And I downloaded Kylo Ren, a very messed up special version of Link named Lonk, where his mouth is perfectly fixed in an face.
Like Kirby.
Yes, like the Kirby image we keep posting. And it's
Everywhere.
We need to start a new series as well where we just review Mii Fighters because I think that is also incredible. But wouldn't fit well into that other live show.
Yeah.
Because
Beal needs to pick up the Kylo Ren and just play and role play like that in the future.
We did do a Kylo Ren match. It was good. It was good.
Good.
Over here at GigaBoots
I'll almost
HQ.
win and then self-destruct to subvert your expectations.
Is that really subverting our expectations, though? I feel
Yeah, it's really not.
But no, it's great. I love all this update stuff. I found some videos, because when you search for stuff, it just searches levels, fighters, and videos, so you can find any of the three. And I've found some videos that were a little cute, Apparently, that thing's being powered by YouTube. Like, it's just YouTube gaming somehow. I popped up in that reveal trailer earlier the week when they announced it. But yeah, that's really exciting. But something I noticed about Smash Bros. Is when you're going through the menu system, there's a lot of loading to get into classic mode or other mode.
Throwing
But
up.
Dan,
You know what might fix load times?
does it have anything to do with the Pod Lords?
What?
Oh, Podlord! Shit! God damn it! No! How many times?
The Podlords for this episode of the Big Think Dimension are Notgak, Danny Richardson, Lady Popcorn, and E. Lee Broyles. Thank you very much to our Podlords. Thank our fucking Podlords.
Oh yeah, thanks guys.
Thank you, Pod Lords.
Thanks, Podlords.
Thank
Pop
you.
Lords,
Not allegedly.
Popful mail on sale.
Poblano.
Poblano Lords.
George Papadopoulos Podlord.
So let's talk about news. We've got some PS5 announcement. It's the first Sony. Sony's doing what I expected from Sony, which is getting out ahead of Microsoft's E3 show out. Because Microsoft's already said, yeah, we're going to talk about that at E3. Like, we're excited to talk about that. And Sony isn't even showing at E3, so they got out ahead of it. They gave Wired an exclusive story about the PS5. They walked them through like some demos and stuff and talked about it with them. And the funniest thing I heard is someone suspected that Wired had a bunch of leaked info about the PS5 and brought it to Sony and was like, we're going to run this article. And Sony's like, how about we just bring you out here and show you some shit and you not run with that info? Because stuff has been leaking. Because as they reference in this article, they're speeding up distribution of dev kits to developers, so all sorts of info about this is getting out. So to get through this really fast, I'm just going to bring up one bullet at a time, and we can talk about it if you guys want to after the bullet. Just let me get cleanly through each thing. So yeah, as I said, Mark Cerny's lead architect on the PS5. He flew them out there and he did a demo of it. I would put that hilarious comic of Mark Cerny kicking Ken Kutaragi out of his office and taking over on screen right now, but it's actually really hard to find. I almost had a t-shirt with that on it once, but
I've never heard of it.
But you had to be at GDC to get that t-shirt, so unfortunately I did not get that t-shirt. Let's see. So, yeah, Mark Cerny, architect of the PS4, guy who made Marble Madness when he was 19 years old. He's doing the PS5, and talking to Wired, he's talking about how PS5 is going to be backwards compatible with the PS4, and as I talk about later, it can enhance performance seemingly with PS4 games making load times faster, which, makes sense. They didn't confirm backwards compatibility with any other system, but based on the patents that Sony has, it's definitely possible that other systems will be backwards compatible. One of the patents Sony has seems to be aimed at emulating older systems, but giving developers the chance to inject higher resolution assets like textures and stuff into them, which, you could look at this two ways. One, either they're just selling a PS1 game remaster with high-res textures for money, or they're letting you stick your PS1 disc in your PS5, and then also from the store, you can download a higher res asset version. Either way, that patent's pretty clear about you're going to sell them this stuff. So whether or not it's going to be a la carte, you have the disc, you get to play PS1 games, or if it's you have to buy it, we don't know. Sony's not commenting. Either way, I think it's nice that we've established they're not full-blown Old Testament Sony crazy, and that we can play PS4 games on this fucking thing. How about you, Bob?
Yeah, no, it's a breath of fresh air. It's a sigh of relief
It's
that
a sign
PS4
that
is going
Sony's
to work.
sane at all. Right?
Yeah.
My insane plan of going mostly all digital this gen did not fuck me.
From the sounds of it, my normal plan of going mostly physical this gen didn't fuck me.
Yes, everybody wins.
Yeah. Isn't it great when you just let people
I
who
feel
want
like
digital
this is
things buy
less,
digital things?
I feel like it's less Sony not being insane and more Mark Cerny being the hero of time holding it all back.
Yes. I feel like Mark Cerny knows what is necessary to make a really good value for a platform, and if the PS3 could have run on the PS4, like if it could have run PS3 games, I feel like they would have done it. But oh my god, that would have been a gargantuan effort.
The PS3 is an architectural nightmare.
Not only that, the PS3
there is always a price here. There's always a price for what happens. What I'm saying is Knack 3.
Yeah, no. And
Look,
just like Days
just
Gone,
imagine Mark Cerny going to the CEO and being like, "You let me make Knack 3 or I walk."
So if they announce Knack
The
3,
epic trilogy.
if they announce Knack 3, Bob and I will play it to completion on a single stream.
Oh no.
Oh yes,
I'm proud to announce that right here and right now.
Yes.
But you know why we're safe, Bob?
Why?
Because they're making Ape Escape. They aren't making Knack 3.
I want to play that for completion anyway.
Exactly.
Dude, I will be that's one of those I will get on my knees.
And that's why it's
They're
happening.
like, yes, KZ, they'll bring it back. They'll bring back your child.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Sony constantly signals that they know that they own Ape Escape. They've made a few different things based on it. Like on the PS3, they did that Ape Escape Move game. And I feel like they can do something really amazing with some of the stuff they're talking about with the PS5 here. So moving on. The PS5 is going to support the current PlayStation VR, which I was hoping but didn't expect.
You didn't waste money.
Thank you. I bought it on Black Friday. I'm glad that it wasn't for this one console for 2 years. Cerny says VR is very important to them in their modern plans, and the implication is that there will be a future version of the PlayStation VR, which is great because Dr. Richard Marks actually left Sony, and he's the guy who brought us the Move. He's the guy who brought us iToy. He's the guy who brought us the PlayStation VR. So
iToy's raw.
I thought they were getting the fuck out of VR when he left, but evidently not. And that's great. And now I'm just going to knock out a couple small bullets before we talk about the important shit. It supports 8K resolution, which is just an HDMI spec thing. The HDMI version that came out this year it supports 8K at 60 frames per second, if I remember correctly, which is fine, I guess. I assume something like a Pixel Junk game could run in 8K, but I don't expect anything else to. Because holy shit.
Dan, you're making games up. Those don't exist anymore.
Pixel Junk games, good point.
Is 8K a meme resolution?
No, it's real. It's a video standard now. They're selling TVs that are 8K right now.
It like,
yeah.
Aren't they like $7,000?
Yes, but at one point in time, 4K was also that. So that's how these things work.
Welcome to Big Think Dimension, episode 137. Dan talking about his 8K OLED.
Guys, if you
it won't be that soon, KZ. We're talking like 3, 4, 5 years.
Guys, if you make us millionaires by the end of the year, I will make that episode 50.
What? You just want to own me.
Yes. Because nothing makes 8K content. What else could I do with that TV other than own you?
I'd love to see, look, with the PS5, we'll be able to play our PlayStation 1 games in 8K.
Yeah, I was talking to Bob about it.
I bet Kingdom Hearts 2 will look really good at 6K.
And see, that's the thing. I was talking to Bob about it.
KZ.
The Ninja Gaiden 2
18K.
Ninja Gaiden 2 is a butt-looking game, but when you play it in 4K, it looks really nice, like really, really nice. And I was sitting there.
Go into that, like how much this version looks really nice of this bad game.
Yeah, this bad game looks really nice in 4K. It's so weird. Just everything about games looks better at a higher resolution, especially the lower the resolution they started at. So like, PS3 games. Like, who knows? Maybe Metal Gear Solid 4 won't look like dog shit in 8K. Who knows? Maybe that could save it. You know what would have been great? Metal Gear Solid 4 at 720p instead of barely above fucking SD resolutions. But whatever, I'm going to be here all day if I talk about Metal Gear Solid 4, so we're moving on. I
heard it's raw.
Making the PS5 for 4 years. Great. And now we get into the real shit. I'm going to start with the smallest bit of the, quote, real shit. Apparently, it's going to be supporting some stuff we already knew. It's going to be using the Zen 2 AMD CPU, which is going to be 7 nanometers and 8 cores. Now, 8 cores is how many CPU cores we have on the PS4, if I'm not mistaken. The difference is these don't suck shit. So next gen, your console isn't going to be massively bottlenecked by your CPU. CPU incredibly important at getting your games running smoothly. So that's why like Nier Automata can't land 60 frames per second on jack shit. That they designed it wrong. And other things like God of War.
Don't be a bully.
I'm not being a bully. It's just true. So it's important not just to massive open world games. CPU is really important for speeding up, say, load times or making a game run at a locked 60 frames per second. But what's much better for load time, something I would have been called, Bob, I would have been called a fucking maniac if I said Sony was doing this a month ago.
Yeah, I mean, this is something you've been like, I dream of this happening, but
I'm like, I need this. I need an M.2 SSD. And everyone's like, it'll cost so much. And I'm like, and you're right. And that's why I won't get it. Sony announced we're getting it. This thing inside of the PS5 as a standard is a PCI Express 4.0 seemingly solid state drive, because they said it's a solid state drive faster than anything on the market today. And as it turns out, that CPU I just talked about supports PCI Express 4.0. And so it will support that level of bandwidth for solid state drives. That's fucking bonkers. To make this statement, it is faster than any SSD on the market today. That means in linear read speeds, this solid state drive that comes standard on the PS5 is 100 times faster than the PS4's hard drive read speeds. It is over 3.3 gigabytes per second. That is fucking bonkers. And the way they showed this off is when Wired came in there, they showed a demo of Spider-Man on the PS4, and they did fast travel between two different areas. And it takes about 15 seconds to load all of the assets and everything and chew through it processing-wise. Now, then he walked them over to a PS5, which it's the low-speed version of the dev kit for the PS5, meaning, the clock rate on the CPU and GPU is not as high. But the same fast travel took 0.8 seconds, which is something like 19 times faster, I believe they were saying. That's fucking huge. That's a huge
that got me feeling
change.
strange.
That got you feeling like Dan. You heard some tech shit and your nethers started doing things.
This is so incredible sounding that I distrust it inherently.
But here's the thing. They can do
It
this.
sounds cool.
They can do this, but it may come at a price, which let me finish this and we'll really dig into this conversation. So in my notes, I was talking about, just having this faster SSD wouldn't matter if our CPUs were weak, but now the CPU is like a legitimate strong contender, and this unreal solid state drive speed. Between the combination of those two things, this could fundamentally revolutionize like loading in games. Like Cerny was talking about, and like that's my opinion, because this is the first time since cartridges that are the size of our games has been this close to the bandwidth we can read them at. So we might start finally getting back there, especially since we have a CPU strong enough to deal with it. It's kind of nuts. And Mark Cerny, when talking about this, he's like, we're used to fundamental expectations from video games of having splash screens with stuff popping up while we wait for the game to start up, and then our menus for starting the game or loading stuff, they're very content rich because we don't want people to get bored. For online lobby matchmaking, we have a bunch of really fancy stuff on screen so they can adjust their loadouts and stuff like that so they don't get bored while it's loading up the next match for people. Like, this will fundamentally get rid of all of that if people design their games right, and if they don't design their games right, it'll still load insanely fast. I'm sold. That is literally the change I wanted for this gen, a solid fucking state drive.
Does this mean I will never have to do a segment in a game where a character slowly pushes a piece of rubble up so he can squeeze through a gap for 30 to 40 seconds?
Yeah, this actually prevents them needing to do that trick to load in assets.
They might still do it.
They
Might
still do it for the atmosphere.
They might still do it for the atmosphere. But that is the whole reason that trick was invented. Like, a lot of people don't realize what Field's talking about was invented during the PS3 gen because of that, because you needed to load in new assets. That's why you can't move the camera in those segments, because they're deleting everything behind the character and loading in everything in front of the character. This is insane.
I'm thinking of American Wasteland tunnels again.
Almost every empty hallway in video game history is hiding a load.
This is so radically fascinating to me. Bob, what are your feelings on this?
Yeah, I have to say, like, that's insane. That's all I can think of. Like, I'm just thinking of every single video game I played over the last, 8 years where I'm like, what if it didn't have loading?
I mean, we're talking, this is going to be the largest change to games in the way they feel and operate since the PS1. Because, even the PS1 had long loading screens.
Like, I'm even thinking about just Devil May Cry 5 a few months ago came out. I'm like, yeah, if I didn't have to deal with a load screen every time I died, that'd be way better.
Yeah, because you're on Dante Must Die, so, at least a third of your playtime at a boss is loading.
Yes.
There are games that will be a point higher with this.
Yeah.
Like Bloodborne.
Which I told Bob, I'm
the
I think they're coming out.
Remaster.
I was like, Bob, I'm pretty sure they're coming out, and when they show this tech off to everyone, they're going to be like, here's Bloodborne. Remember that massively bad problem? Boom. It went from multi-minute load time to 10 seconds.
We also won't fix the frame pacing still.
You can't.
No, that because of the multiplayer. Oh, can't fix the weird frame rate or anything. That'll give you an advantage.
Literally, you would have to you would have to slap up some dumb bitch at FromSoft who doesn't know how to stop doing that. 2, you would have to re-engineer that game.
Maybe with the brute force of the CPU, it'll be pumping out hundreds of frames at once.
Yes, but the problem is that it'll be locked to 30.
No, it's not locked.
It's not locked?
It's not locked.
Ooh. And see, this is the weirdest generation. This is the weirdest generation I've ever been through, because at the end of it, I'm like, I hope every game has variable resolution and unlocked frame rates, even though it's no, what I ideally want is a perfectly locked frame rate at a stable high resolution. But now I'm like,
yeah, but you gave up on that.
And then I stick it in a PS5 and it runs a locked 4K and it runs at 60 and my penis feels good.
That's why I'm so pumped, man. Kingdom Hearts 3's on an unlocked frame rate.
Yep.
I'm gonna win.
Yep. Oh God. Can you imagine those social media screens pop up and after 4 fucking seconds it's move on. You're good.
Dude, it's so great. I won't even be able to read those awful things.
Hashtag friends, hashtag Keyblade.
All of them are rushing to my head. Please move on, please.
Yeah, I'm moving on. So this I actually do find really interesting, but it's one of the lesser things in this whole presentation. They're doing they're taking another stab at 3D audio, and this one is going to use some custom silicon from AMD. The idea is kind of like Dolby Atmos, where instead of the game is going to be mixed for, say stereo 2 channels or surround sound 5 or 7 channels, it's going to be the audio is processed in the 3D space, and you won't need any speakers or special hardware to get benefits from this, because no matter how many speakers you have, it'll properly down mix to that amount. So we're talking even like you can hear things above you, you can hear things below you, that sort of thing. And it's to the point where, because it downsamples to whatever you're listening to, Mark Cerny's like, headphones will be the gold standard, basically, because the sense of immersion you get from hearing this 3D audio around you properly mixed in a 3D space instead of artificially mixed in like channels. He compares it to the sort of presence you feel when a VR game feels that immersive, like when you put on the headset and you feel like you're there. He feels like it sort of feels like that. You get a sense of presence within the game from the 3D audio, and that's pretty dope.
So this actually works, because just before this podcast, I was recording more Final Fantasy 15 and ran into something where 3D audio would make it even better. Mm-hmm. And the fact that there is a terrible side quest in there where they're like, you need to catch 5 frogs in this swamp, and they don't tell you where they are, and you have to listen through rivets. So like 3D audio to be able to pinpoint them even better.
Yeah, I just looked up a map.
It only took like 3 minutes. It took 3 minutes, but it's all right. But it reminded me of like better audio.
That made me give up on side quests in that video game. I just stopped.
No, I'm trying to do as many as possible. Eventually, I'll crack.
That was my.
That's one of the worst ones. I don't think there's any other one that annoys me.
Don't worry, there's another one of those frog ones. I'm pretty sure there's like 3 of them.
I think I did one, and I got stuck on one of them. I just no, I'm done doing all of these.
Yeah, maybe which one did you do? Is it the one at the lake?
Yeah. It's when you reach the first grassy area in that game. They're like, go find these frogs and listen. And I'm like, all right. But yeah, 3D audio for games.
Yeah.
Real good.
Yeah. I mean, it's really neat.
That's going to be real fun when it scares the shit out of
PlayStation VR when you have the headphones on and you turn your head and the audio changes completely. Like, that's pretty neat there. And I'm glad that tech's being worked back into the next console, like at a console level. The next thing isn't that interesting per se, because there's not much known about it. The GPU is a Navi-based GPU from AMD, of course. Richard Ledbetter from Digital Foundry he said in their video about it that Navi is a GCN derivative, which is interesting because the PS4 is also GCN architecture. So I guess it's not that radical of a departure, but some people are saying this one's going to be less beefed up for GPU compute to compensate for the CPU, because the CPU is strong enough. It doesn't need that as much. But one of the things they did say about it in this Wired article is that it supports, being the keyword, ray tracing. But like that doesn't necessarily mean that it has bespoke silicon hardware to enable it, kind of like the RTX cards from NVIDIA, where a huge amount of the silicon is taken up with specialized processing hardware to expedite ray tracing. So I would prefer they not do that. I'd prefer that we just get better overall GPU performance and they have custom solutions. For example, Crytek, the people who used to make games but now just own an engine, I guess, recently made a ray trace demo running on AMD GPUs. It's doing ray tracing in the game, or in the tech demo. And, in that sense, the PS5 could, do some ray tracing and not have to waste silicon budget on it. And Cerny also notes, ray tracing isn't just for visuals. Ray tracing can be used for gameplay mechanic things, like finding out if an enemy can hear the player's footsteps and other things like that. And it's like, yeah, they used ray tracing to some extent the melee in Last of Us, where it was checking what objects nearby Joel could use as a melee implement or what he could smash people's heads into. KZ, how do you feel about ray tracing?
Ray tracing is very valid. I've watched at least 4 Digital Foundry videos in which they talked about ray tracing. I think you explained it to me in an episode. I don't remember what it is.
So the funniest thing about the billion times I just said the word ray tracing, none of
Well,
this.
to be fair, Discord had its ultimate glitch in which you started talking for a minute and it was silent, and I had to change servers to hear you again.
Oh, that's cool. Is Feel still here?
Of course
I'm here.
Okay, well
that
that's
same
good.
thing happened to me though.
Great,
Yeah,
awesome.
I had to forcibly move our servers on this thing to turn it back on.
Well, at least we got through ray tracing. No. But the amazing thing about the fact I just said ray tracing a billion times, none of this shit is actually ray tracing. But I'm not gonna.
Oh God!
I am not going into that.
Dan, I'm so fucking tired. You can't just tell me, hey, they talked about what ray tracing can do. By the way, it's not ray tracing.
The funny thing is the thing he was talking about using it as a gameplay mechanic, that is ray tracing. This RTX shit isn't ray tracing.
Please move on.
Oh, I'm going to, because I'm not about to explain the fundamental difference between path tracing and ray tracing.
Shut the fuck up. You're making up words.
And there was some little bit in here where they were like, Cerny's talking about, oh yeah, it's gonna support PS4 games, and you can just play your games on that. And he was like, oh, so Death Stranding, or Mark Cerny was like, so we're gonna have another gentle generation transition where the games from the last gen will work on the next gen, so it won't be much of a problem. The journalist from Wired said, so is Death Stranding going to be a cross-gen title? And apparently Cerny just smirked, and the representative in the room went, Death Stranding is a PS4 game.
I like Cerny smiling. He's like, they ask one more question, they're dead.
He's just like, I know things you can't possibly imagine.
There's gonna be a couple cross-gen games. I'm pretty sure Death Stranding is gonna be one of them, and I have a good idea of what another one's gonna be.
So the thing I expect here is that you buy a PS4 game, you stick it in your PS5, and it'll...
I'm gonna be right, Bob.
Yeah, you are. You just like, yeah, this is just going to happen. Well, yeah, KZ, it's going to happen.
It'll just boot into the super big dick mode.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's gonna have...
I like to be correct on the big thing dimension.
Good job.
You're just gonna stick your PS4 disc inside your PS5. It'll be like, okay, that's the game, and it's in a PS5, so run it better. And if the developer made bespoke support for that mode, they could disable the checkerboard rendering and enable full native 4K, maybe higher frame rates. And if they don't, then it'll probably just load faster.
Where they have the Xbox One X as the patch for like games that get enhancements, so they'll just do that for PS5 stuff.
And games that don't have the enhancements just run better, period, because it's faster clock.
Like PS4's Pro's boost mode, where they just use it to make things a little bit better.
But the thing is here that it's like boost mode is a stupid version of this. It's the dumbest application of that, where it's like you get 3 more frames. Like,
I like those frames, Dan.
Boost mode is not as effective as supporting it natively because the PS4 Pro doesn't actually have that much higher of clock rates. It has more hardware. It's wider. So in order to design your games for it, you have to actually design it. The PS5 is going to be stupidly powerful compared to the PS4. So even if it's Unga mode, it's going to be like, your load time's gone. I shot it dead.
Sony Blanco.
Oh, fuck. So, Bob, before we move on from the PS5, do you have any closing comments about how you feel about all this news?
I really wish we got another one of those things like when the PS4 was announced, where Cerny gets out on stage and explains it to people. Like, that was great.
I think we're going to get that next year.
Hopefully.
I think in the next year we're going to get...
explain it to me while I'm in bed.
Yes, well, no, in your tub.
Explain it while you're in your tub watching on your iPhone XS Plus.
Yes. It sounds great.
I love my phablet.
Does it fold?
Excuse you, I have an Amazon Fire.
Is it waterproof?
I don't know.
Definitely not.
Want to find out?
No.
Just make sure to plug it in before you get in the tub. You don't want to run out of battery.
I'm like, oh, Bob, this video from Mark Cerny came out. He's about to explain the PS5 to me. I'm going to go upstairs and tuck myself in. Get my bedtime story
Bob?
from Mark Cerny.
Bob,
He's
are
like,
you trying to kill me?
no, the thing you need to understand
Tell me to
about...
plug in electronics, keep them plugged in, and throw them in the tub with me?
Yeah, that's just good thinking. You don't want your battery to die while you're in the tub listening to the PS5. But yeah, Phil, I'm curious what your take on all this info is.
Like I said, I want to believe it, but I'm so used to companies betraying me
Okay.
that I'm inherently distrustful when someone says, all these incredible things are going to happen. Please come into this room and drink this Kool-Aid.
None of these... The only incredible thing is the notion that they may get a PCI Express 4.0 SSD in this thing at $400. So here's my theory. It's $500.
Yeah, it's
$699.
500 is the highest they can possibly go, because any higher, you start to lose a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, even by 500, you've lost a chunk. What was it? There's that
At
dude...
I went and looked when this article came out. I went and looked how much did consoles cost accounting for inflation when they came out, and not a single one that did well was above 500.
Yeah. What are you talking about? The PS3 did fine. It just also had a $400 SKU and then completely redid itself to have a better $400 SKU in a few months. And then became $300.
Yeah, they just folded like a card instantly. And then how long was the Kinect guaranteed never going to be taken out of the Xbox One? Like 3 months?
Yeah.
Maybe 4?
Yeah, I think it was 4 months because they announced it in March of the next year.
Remember how well the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X have done? Oh, wait, they've explicitly never given us a single number ever.
Yep. They stopped that real fast.
I'm sure they're doing great.
Uh-huh.
That vapor chamber.
I love that vapor chamber.
That's crucial.
But yeah, KZ, do you have any other comments?
I think this is exciting. All I wanted was better loading and to play my PS4 games, because then they would play better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Sony, please just let me put my PS1 and PS2 discs in this. What are you losing? I own like weird games that will never be digitally re-released, so just let me stick them in the fucking console.
You know what? Please do, because I'm tired of hearing about it every time like a Sony thing happens. Let me use my 20-year-old copy of Dark Cloud.
Well, the problem is
they put the emulators in. They build these emulators and then just don't give me them. Just give me them. It's been 15 years. Nobody else has their copy of Final Fantasy X kicking around that will keep them from buying the remaster.
I mean, not only that, like, it's not even that. It's that a lot of these games aren't going to be re-released like any Tony Hawk game. Like,
it's not about Final Fantasy X. It's about
Mr. Mosquito.
It's about Shadow Hearts 2. The company that owns that license makes fucking washing machines.
Okay.
The company that owned that license through a series of Japanese companies eating smaller Japanese companies. The main company that owns it now just makes appliances.
That's fucking weird.
Raw?
This gives me hope that they might do that. As I said, I think it's a pretty viable model if they let you play your PS1 games, but then also go, hey, you can buy this like $8, $10 DLC to make it like look a lot better. I think a lot of people will do that.
Xbox is making them look like clowns and have been for years now.
Yeah, no,
You get a good Silent Hill collection.
Like there's literally
an HD version of that.
Probably 3 decent Xbox original games, and then compared to the PS2 library, which is a gold mine.
Yeah, the PS2 library is a fucking gold mine in comparison. But what are you talking about, Bob? There's Ninja Gaiden 1, okay?
Yeah.
Halo 1.
Mm-hmm.
Crimson Skies.
No.
Fable?
No.
What? These aren't good games?
Fable is okay.
Guy who likes Otogi says Crimson Skies is bad.
Dan, have you ever played the story mode?
Otogi's
Bob,
pretty cool.
Why the fuck would I play the story mode of Crimson Skies?
See?
This is getting kind of raw.
But yeah, like, it behooves Sony to just have a digital store where you can buy PS3 games and it runs on the PS5. It behooves Sony to have a way to stick your old games in the system and play them, because it'll drive up interest. And if there's a digital copy available, people will buy that for convenience.
Yeah, because it's not easy to find a PS2 game, period.
Right.
Yeah, pretty period. If you're already making these emulators, just make them available for everybody and get a big PR bump.
Yeah, they kind of need it. This is the exact moment where people will jump ship.
Being able, like, you lose nothing from me being able to put Nano Breaker into the PS5.
But we gain everything.
Yeah, I mean, that will probably be the way we do giving games a chance if it's stable, if it works right. If they run the games in higher resolution, why wouldn't we play it that way?
Yeah.
It doesn't have the clean pixel scaling. Yeah,
and then I won't have to buy a launch PS5 and wait till somebody comes up with custom firmware to let me access the emulators like has also already happened to the fucking PS4.
Yeah. But yeah, as I was saying, because I think, KZ, you got out everything you had to say about this? Yeah, I think that was your whole statement.
I was saying I was excited that, I'm looking for a machine that loads things faster.
Check.
And plays the previous gen games.
Correct.
So that, they can run well. Yep. And none of this seems like some impossible thing of like, I don't know about this one. Seems a little far-fetched.
Yeah, I mean...
No, that just sounds like they made a better machine that's similar enough that they won't break the machine trying to load old games.
Yeah, actually, they have some patents that help out, but I'm not going to go into detail on that. Just know that their patents are pretty similar to how Microsoft does it with virtual machines. That's all.
They're getting on the VMs.
Virtual machines.
Virtual machines.
Virtual machines. But yeah, I think this is really exciting that this is going to be the fastest game has ever loaded compared to its overall size since cartridges. Like, that's fucking incredible, you guys. Like, the thought, because like 3.2 gigabytes per second or 3.3 is about what the fastest current solid state drives do. So if we're faster than that, like, most games next gen probably won't break, like, I'm saying most, not the AAA games won't, because of course they will. They're already breaking 100. But I'm going to say most games were still going to be like 90 gigs, 80 gigs, right?
Mm-hmm.
If your read speed is 3.5 gigabytes per second, you can read the entire game in a small amount of time. That's insane. Like, that is going to feel so good to just blow up load times. They know exactly what to tell me to get me excited.
Bethesda will still find a way to just make it not work.
Absolutely. Bethesda finds a way is like...
Oh, no.
That is their company ethos. We will find a way to make your miracle box suck shit. The
true battle of video games. It's just it's just Todd Howard walking towards Mark Cerny like Dio and Jotaro walking towards each other.
In order to run me, you're going to have to come closer.
Oh no.
But yeah, I think the major thing here is if they get all of this in a box that's 400 and it has a terabyte of storage, that is going to be a fucking incredible achievement. Which is why today when I saw that tweet from Chris Kohler, who's like, he's just hyping it up. Sony's job right now, I need you all to remember this. Sony's job right now is to make you think this is a miraculous box and that when they sell it for 400, you'll be blown away. And it's like, stop acting like you're above this, you jaded shitheel. That is an accomplishment. Fuck.
He didn't understand anything they said, Dan.
Yeah, no, he
saw people getting excited, so he made up his own bullshit.
He saw people getting excited, and he needed to let them know he was above it. He was up above it. Yeah, it just bugs me because, to be honest, as Bob said multiple times, I've been like, this is the most important thing this gen. This is the most important thing this gen. Jesus Christ, we need this next gen. Otherwise, it's going to be miserable. And then they did it. And it's like, how the fuck are they going to sell this for 400? It has to be 500. If they get it done for 400, I've said to Bob, and I'm going to go on the record here, that probably means we're going back to the model where they lose money on the box. And they
didn't lose money on the PS4?
No one in this fucking marketplace has lost money on hardware since a PS3 and 360. They're just coasting along, making a profit on the hardware
Very
and
passionate.
the software. Well, KZ, let me explain. When I grew up, the fucking deal with game consoles is that they punched above their weight. They gave you a lot of value for the price, and what they packed in was custom and very hard to make, so it was incredible. And then by the time we hit the PS4, they're like, fuck it. We're just going to make a profit off of the box. And it's just like, fuck you. Try harder for my money, asshole. Like, I want you to make something so strong that the PCs have a problem, which is what we're talking about here. When you're talking about games that are fundamentally developed with the expectation of having a fucking PCI Express 4.0 solid state drive in it, they're going to have games that just can't run on PC. Like, we already have that problem, and the read speeds on console aren't even that fast. Like, remember Arkham City? That was the exact problem with that game, that it could read more efficiently on console because they could do better streaming tech on console. When they tried to bring that to PC, if you had too fast of a hard drive or too slow of a hard drive, it shit its pants. So this is going to magnify that even more. I'm very fucking excited. This is it.
Oh yeah, the other day we were talking about like they didn't talk anything about a controller. I have to wonder if of course they'll have a new controller, but I wonder if their PS4 controller will just hook up.
Yeah, me and Bob were talking about it. We think they'll just like make a new controller that doesn't have a touchpad and just is a more practical design for a controller, perhaps with a decent battery life. But there's no reason it couldn't hook up to the PS4 controller. I mean, it's just Bluetooth.
Please give me something as good as the Switch Pro controller in terms of battery life.
Yeah,
it's
possible.
possible.
That'd be great.
I mean, that exists.
Obviously.
Yeah, see, and this is what I'm talking
the
about.
PS3 had a controller battery life almost that good.
The PS3's battery life is actually better.
Jesus.
Make sure to charge using micro USB.
Also, USB Type-C will be great.
Yes. Type-C
If there's
are
micro
Type-C gods.
USB anywhere near this thing. Like maybe that's the catch. Maybe that's the dark pact Mark Cerny had to sign to get this.
They're just
maybe Satan, who is higher up at him at Sony, is like, you can have your dream box, but the controllers must charge with micro USB.
And the touchpad is bigger.
The micro USB is not just on the controller; it's also on the console. You need the converters to get
3
micro
light bars
USBs to
now.
regular.
The light bar's on the front of the controller, so you can't look at it without getting blinded.
Has anything used that touchpad in any way at all ever? That's worth mentioning.
Yes, but if you're going to ask me 6 months after launch, the answer is no.
Hey, I think some of the newer Assassin's Creed games let you move around your cursor on the map.
That's true. You can move the map with it.
I mean something that is makes it worth having.
Oh God, no, never, not even once.
Any game that uses it as an alternate start button, I appreciate it because the normal options button is too small.
I agree.
Hey, here's a fucking hot take. Take that touchpad away and make those 2 buttons bigger and more pronounced.
No, the touchpad's raw.
That's not a hot take. That's reasonable. That's good controller design.
Yeah, it's the one thing that I like about the Xbox One controller.
Yeah. I can't wait for them to release this system and the new controllers and us to get insane people who buy controllers and take sandpaper to them to post pictures of them on Twitter and say these controllers are defective.
Oh God,
Did that happen?
Yeah.
It happened when the PS4 came out. People would take sandpaper to the sticks, be like, look how fast the stick degraded. I've only used it like 15 hours. And it's like crumbling to dust.
It's got a bone in it.
To be fair, and like, how long did my last, Bob? I think it was like 2 years almost.
Yeah.
But my left stick eventually did start degrading down. Like they made the launch model of controller out of like some rubber that does deteriorate, but I don't doubt that those people were also taking fucking sandpaper to it.
Right, like ours, that definitely happened within a year or so that we started seeing that happen, but it wasn't within a couple hours like those people posted pictures.
Is, like the way it deteriorates, the way it flakes apart, it actually looks like I took my nail, like my fingernail, and tried to scrape up the top of my controller because it was like a thin flap.
Yeah,
that was the first time I started noticing it. I was like, excuse me, I've never touched the tip of my fucking finger to this. What is happening? And then eventually I heard, oh yeah, they deteriorate. And I was like, well, shit, too bad it didn't do it sooner. I could have returned it. So yeah, PS5, very promising, very excited. I don't want to spend $500, but I will. Hopefully it's $400. Hey, Bob, you got us some news about this Capcom hardware that's just as amazing as PS5.
No. I'm sorry,
No,
Dad.
not really at all.
What do you mean, Bob? Be nice.
It has ghouls and ghosts, you heathens!
So it's basically a gigantic arcade stick. There's 2 arcade sticks on one big, giant Capcom logo.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It only gets crazier. There's some shit I had to tell Bob.
Yeah,
that's in here. That's just.
It's got like.
But yeah, it's $260. Giant, all one piece Capcom logo, very glossy. The buttons aren't colored different from the logo even.
Yeah, which is
so
insane.
They disappear into the color of the rest of it. And
someone had to point out the buttons, and I went, "Oh shit, there are buttons on that." I thought it was just a mock-up.
I thought it was just a touchscreen.
Kill me.
It's a big touchpad.
Arcade gamers aren't picky, right?
No.
Cool. It's got Wi-Fi built in for leaderboards, and there's something about the stick. What's up with the stick, Bob?
The stick uses the GTY gate, which is an octagonal gate for the controller stick or joystick.
So when you guys move your arcade sticks to the edges, the shape of the edges where it stops is considered a gate.
Yes.
And this is an octagonal gate.
And most people are used to the square gate, which is more typical
for these Capcom games.
I think in America, most people use circle gates in America.
Yeah, it depends
just saw
on the game.
A whole bunch of people upset about this on Twitter because Mark Mann formerly from Mad Catz tweeted about it. It was like, GTY, why?
And then it played sitcom studio applause.
Yes.
Cue the
so
laugh
I
track.
assume that's not. From everything I saw, that is not the norm for fighting games. Like even the people who said, "Oh yeah, I like octagonal gates," but I know that's not the norm, and I'm a weirdo.
Yeah, no, it's not the norm. It's not expected. It's generally considered by the entire FGC nowadays to be an inferior design. So it's funny that this thing is $260.
That's just the conversion.
That is a conversion. This is 229 euros.
Yes.
So 230 euros, really, because it's only
even if we
0.01.
get the good conversion rate of it just swapping the symbol. This seems like a product for no one.
Well, we're gonna let's finish talking about it. We got some games here. Is it okay if I run it down?
Go
Bob?
for it, Dan. There's a ton of these games.
So we've got 1944 : The Loop Master. You could have said that to me, and
Loop Master?
You could have said that to me, and I would have been like, "You're making games up." Because I know there's the 1942 series, but I don't think any of them have the subtitle The Loop Master. We have Alien vs. Predator, Armored Warriors, Capcom Sports Club, Captain Commando, Cyberbots, Full Metal Madness, Darksuckers, The Night Warriors, Eco Fighters, Final Fight, Ghouls and Ghosts, Giga Wings, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Mega Man, The Power Battle, Pro Gear, Strider, and Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. Trademark.
So I have a point on these games.
Mm-hmm.
Capcom, if you don't add Alien vs. Predator to the beat 'em ups bundle you just fucking did, I'm gonna be real pissed.
Well,
you got the license back.
Get your
you
pissed
don't
face
put that
ready.
game in.
Get
Though
ready.
other companies have patched in games later to their arcade collections. Capcom could totally do it again. They got the license back.
Aside from
It must have been hard.
Oh my God. Aside from SNK, I can't think of anyone who did that.
The Sega ones, I think.
Feels just ramping himself up to be upset. It's gonna happen.
He's getting
The
his
recent
piss face.
Sega one patched in games too, I think.
Didn't know about that. So now we're going to talk about the weirdest part about this. It has Wi-Fi for leaderboards. Now we're going to talk about the most illegal part for this. This entire thing's built on an emulator that has a no commercial use license agreement.
Oh no!
The guy who,
Uh-oh.
the guy who's the head of the emulator, which the emulator's called FB Alpha, he was like, Capcom has licensed FB Alpha for the new arcade stick. And then a bunch of people who contributed to the code were like, hi, what's up? That's not the license under which the emulator exists, because you just made a fork of the original emulator, which was called Fireburn. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't license all of this code that all of these people have contributed to you. Part of this code base is MAME. You can't do this legally. What are you talking about? They licensed it. And then he ghosted everyone. He's gone. No one, he hasn't said a single fucking thing since. He's not responding to comment. I don't think this product is gonna ship, guys.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It's over $200. It looks cool. It's Capcom logo.
And it's
I want
just
someone
using-
to gut it and use it at Evo.
It's just using stolen code, that's all.
Yeah, that's all.
It
Don't
might
worry
ship.
about it. It's allegedly.
The emulator boxes,
It's allegedly, Casey.
not in the least.
Okay. Maybe I'm a bit off the goop on this allegedly. Fucking innocent until proven guilty.
That's also not what's happened here, but this has
The question will be, can money solve this before they have to remake their product?
I don't
This
think
sounds like a case for Magnum Dan.
I don't think they can. But emulator boxes have shipped before with stolen emulators. It's happened quite a few times, actually, depressingly enough. So this may just be another case of that.
But they don't advertise with emulators they use on those emulation boxes, though. People just hacked it out.
People hack it out. That's the thing, though, Bob. It doesn't matter in the court of law whether or not you admitted you committed a crime.
That's true, but this is a pretty big deal
Yeah, but
that they know about before
but
it
the
even
moment is
happens.
past if you have to hack into it after it comes out.
It's already out there. They
Like,
made their profit.
You can't keep it from coming out after it's out.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they may ship the thing anyway.
What I
Yeah,
meant to write down
What's
the
up,
date
Bob?
for when it comes out.
It's later this year, allegedly.
Yeah,
October.
it is.
It's
Yeah,
October
okay.
something.
But it's right now. It's just European aimed. All the pre-order links are for Europe, right, Bo?
Yes, but then they announced on Twitter North American releases details soon.
And then they deleted that, and they were like, "Oops, we stole it." I'm just kidding. That didn't happen.
No.
Bob, what other news do we have?
I got one here. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, the Black Order, dated for July 19th. That's the Switch game. That's the new Marvel Ultimate Alliance game.
That's one made by Team Ninja, right?
Supposedly.
I'm excited about that because it's the most I can't believe this exists.
Yeah, no, that's fair, KZ. I also am in that boat of that. I don't think anyone expected Team Ninja to be making a Marvel Ultimate Alliance game for Nintendo, and if they were, stop using drugs. Okay, it's clearly
It's
damaging
just
you.
Them making this game. By the way, this game.
Yeah, it's been how many years since the last Ultimate Alliance game?
Oh, just
It was a launch title.
12.
Wasn't it a launch title?
The first one was a launch title, but they did a number 2.
Yeah, they did a second one a few
that
years
was only
later.
one.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's been about 11 years.
It's
10
like,
years.
what next, Dan? Are we gonna get a Dark Void 2?
No, we're
No.
gonna get an Untold Legends 3.
I think the most insane one is actually my next news article.
Okay.
13, cel-shaded FPS from 2003, getting a remake this year.
That is the Ubisoft game with the comic book art style called XIII, if you're a child.
I vaguely remember seeing it in magazines and on G4.
Yeah, that sounds
I
about right.
recall the name, and I know nothing about it.
I think I watched a cutscene of it from Cinematech.
Bob, why are they bringing it back? Who's bringing it back? What's changing? Let me know.
Look, it's being developed by Play Magic, which this seems to be their first video game.
Oh,
Published by Microids.
wait, what? Who the fuck is?
I don't know. I can't find info on most of this stuff.
This is a Baja Men song. Who?
Is Microids the version of Metroid where they hacked in Mike Jones from Star Tropics?
Yes.
No!
but it supposedly is going to have modernized graphics, sounds, animations, and gameplay mechanics.
Ooh.
So it's no more than just the remasters.
They're gonna ship a completely different game. Gotcha.
Yes.
Hey, I think that's fine because no one played 13, so everyone will think everything's new.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to Mr. Feel. Mr. Feel, tell me about Xbone Sad.
So they revealed its price and design. Its design is just the Xbox One S without a disc drive. It has it's just covered.
Just
How
got
The
a hole.
Xbox One S
exciting.
all digital.
Yeah.
This thing is $250, so what's the fucking point of it existing?
Well, imagine you didn't want to watch a movie on a Blu-ray on your system ever, and you want
Okay,
to
but-
own the physical goods owners? I don't know.
It's
'cause
to
right
be
now-
all digital. I
Yeah,
believe they said that it will always be $50 below the disc SKU.
Right now, the regular Xbox One S is $250 at the moment.
With a game included.
Yes,
Granted,
with a game
one of those bundles is Anthem, but still.
Anthem's a great. That's like 5 video games in one, and they're all dead.
There's Division 2 bundles. There's NBA bundles.
Yeah.
You could get something that's not Anthem. Heck, they probably made fewer of those Anthem bundles than anything.
Are people still buying Anthem, Bob?
Yeah, are they?
No.
Probably not. I'm sure when sales happen, this thing will go down to like 200, 175 or something, because this feels like a thing where we'll price it at 250 if any insane person wants to buy it for that.
Yeah, this
But we
feels
can also knock it off for sales.
So about companies who want to get you on with their program by selling you a box, but don't want to lose money on that box.
Yeah, right?
Oh,
It's like
no.
Microsoft. You're making 30% of the money for every game they buy. Do you really need to sell this at above cost?
Couldn't this be $100 at this point?
It could, and it would still make the money.
I would take 200. I'd go buy one if it was $200, just so I could play old Xbox 360 and
But that's the thing.
Xbox One original games.
That's the thing that doesn't fucking make sense about you saying that. Just get the version with the disc hole in it, and then you could stick your real discs in it. Or just...
I don't have any. One, I don't have any real discs. Two, if this was $100 cheaper, why wouldn't I just get that?
You said 50. 1, 2. You can use eBay, and it oftentimes will be cheaper than a digital copy.
Yeah, I need to
eBay's
check
got,
like-
I
crazy people on it.
don't have space, Dan.
I don't have space for a nearly 2-dimensional disc.
No,
Fucking disc wallet.
I'd rather just buy the games digitally. There's only like 5.
Why would you buy things digitally?
Now, yet again, someone else has come out saying there are only 5 good games on this back compat. Here I go. I'm gonna own you again. So there's Crimson Sky.
No, I didn't say 5. I didn't say 5 good games. I said 5 games I wanted. There's difference.
I think I bought
Yeah,
like
Bob.
8 or 9 things off back compat for Xbox. So
Look, I was
yeah.
talking about Xbox original, not Xbox 360 at all.
oh, original? What? There's like Crimson Skies and fucking
Fable.
Mischief Makers. What is the fucking that Mario Party fucking game on Xbox?
Fusion
Pinata.
Frenzy.
Oh,
Fusion
that
Frenzy and Fusion Frenzy 2 are both back compat on the fucking
There you go.
Xbox.
3
cares?
games.
You're gonna care when we do that stream later this year.
it's so bad.
Oh, don't do this to Bob.
No one can stop me. Feel, there's some more news.
Okay, Shadow of the Tomb Raider this is me criticizing media, by the way. Not this
Okay.
is
Yeah.
So the producer of Shadow of the Tomb Raider was asked, "Is this the end for Lara Croft?" And he said no. So obviously something must be happening, except no. Stop asking producers and devs, would you like to continue making money? Would you like to continue having a job? And then being surprised when they say yes. That never means anything. Ever.
Well, I'm glad we've got
What
news
you're
about
saying
the news
the
here.
Tomb Raider will continue?
Tomb Raider
I'm
will
sure
return.
it will. She's had more reboots than actual games almost.
Laura Croft will return in Smash Ultimate.
But just stop asking
Don't put
developers
this evil on
or publishers
Masahiro
or whoever
Sakurai.
else. Don't ask them, would you like to make a sequel to this? Of course they're going to say yes. It doesn't mean they're working on it.
But they're
So,
probably working on it, right, Phil?
No,
They're not working on a new Tomb Raider?
probably not. I would doubt it, considering considering none of those last 3 made money.
Let's wait for someone to look at a dude's laptop on a subway. We might figure out the next game they're working on.
Just gotta ride a bunch of subways over in fucking Canada.
So GameStop is starting a new program where if you buy a new game and return it within 48 hours, you get the full value back as store credit.
Okay.
If only one of us used that service.
So, hey.
Apparently, I cannot prove this because I've been told it by multiple people who were at GameStops that tested this service first. Apparently, it had like a test run with certain games like Sekiro.
Yeah.
This is because so many games have come out in the past year that are just fucked beyond playability at launch. GameStop is tired of dealing with it.
I mean, that makes sense. Like, Fallout 76, Anthem happened in the last, 6 months.
Fallout 76 is the one that all of them mentioned. It's like, this is because of Fallout 76.
Oh my god. Bethesda once again changing the game industry.
But the first
certainly
game,
for the better.
the first game that this will be available for is Days Gone. Hashtag Freak Your Game.
Hashtag Freak Your Game.
Hashtag Freak Your Game.
No.
So I look forward to guzzling that game down in 48 hours.
You're
I
not
think that
going to
there's
make it in time.
I think
It's
there's
not gonna happen.
a weird stipulation where it's 40 hours from launch of the game, so you don't get to, buy it a couple days
When
later and
something
get 40
happens
hours
to
from
field
then.
that distracts it for
Really?
2 days.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, so this program only works 48 hours from the launch of the game.
Right. So it's
That
really for
can't
those,
be. It must be from when you get it.
That's what
That's
the verbiage sounded
amazing.
like.
That's amazing.
Which, yeah.
I loved Feel's plan of he's like, I'm gonna chug this game down and then I'm gonna return it and I'm gonna get my money back. And it's just this mental image of Feel eating shit while pointing his finger at the GameStop employee like, look who's owned.
No, see, I'm pointing at KZ doing that because KZ bought it digitally and gets no return whatsoever.
Look,
Yeah, the difference here is I might like it.
yeah, see, that's the thing.
I'm not
Feel-
going to go into this expecting to hate it. I hope it will be good.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, I
also
bet.
why you're racing to beat it as fast as possible.
Definitely.
I can want the best and plan for the worst. That's called being smart, KZ.
You say
well,
as you point and laugh at the GameStop employee while standing on a shoebox.
I'd never do anything foul to a
Wait,
GameStop employee.
so-
They already work at GameStop. That would just be cruel.
Casey, he has to stand on the shoebox just so he doesn't sprain his arm to point up at the employee. Is that what
Yeah,
you're
I
saying?
know. He's like this'll put me a belt level with them, so let's do this.
I can't deal with this. Days Gone is going to be a great game. It's going to be really enjoyable. I think at the end of 2019, we're going to be talking about how Days Gone is one of the surprise hits of the year, and we all enjoyed it.
It will get awards, which will make the Horizon devs incredibly sad.
I maybe not.
I feel like
I mean, since Horizon didn't, I feel like this could just completely fall through the cracks, especially if The Last of Us 2 comes out this year.
Nah, don't worry about it, Freaker Gang.
Freak your game. Freak your game.
What the hell? Neil Druckmann just snaps his fingers and Days Gone and evaporates off all Game of the Year lists.
Oh no!
I find it weird, but there's not a section on Game of the Year lists for best open world game.
Or best zombie game.
It's weird.
And I feel like both of those could be really contentious categories every fucking
They
year.
call them action adventure games now.
That's wrong.
I thought you were going to say that was raw. I was really thrown for a loop when that sound ended with "ng."
I just say unga.
That's raw, Unga.
That's wrong.
Oh my god. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to Days Gone. I will not take part of this program, even though I could, because I think it's going to be a great game, and it has nothing to do with me being a giant Sony fanboy sleeper agent who has tricked this entire podcast into buying a completely unremarkable Sony exclusive.
Hey, I don't think there's any evidence of that. Points to the 50-minute rundown of how great the PlayStation 5 is going to be.
Nothing, no evidence, none.
No.
So another thing came out recently.
I just run a positive
What?
channel here. That's all.
A $2,000 phone called the Galaxy Fold.
Oh, wait. Is this a tech podcast? I could have brought in so many things.
No, this isn't going to be me addressing the technical aspect at all. It's just going to be me making fun of the fact it's fucked.
Oh.
It's a foldable. It has a foldable touchscreen. You fold it out, and you have the size of two phones.
Yeah,
side by side.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this now.
You haven't seen it? It's a $2,000 fucking phone. It's so stupid.
Galaxy Fold. I've never heard of this.
So this year's hot thing in phones is that they can fold.
What the fuck is this?
Right, yeah, no, that's this year. That's this year's major thing with phones. Problem, they're all fucking expensive, and the Samsung one is insanely expensive, and a tech reviewer ripped off part of the screen thinking it was a protective screen thing. He kept...
There's a layer to the touchscreen that is so thin and easily detaches from the rest that people thought it was a screen protector.
So
and pulled it off and destroyed their phone.
Imagine you're
also
a tech
apparently
journalist and you're just scratching at it, and you're like, "This looks like it come off. Here we go. I'm just gonna remove this."
Apparently, the hinges are bad. Also,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
it's only $2,000.
It's just $2,000 to
half
buy another.
The screens. This is a thing that I don't have a term for, so I'm thinking of just calling it bullshit nerd tech. Bullshit nerd tech is something that a lot of people will tell you is the future because they think it's neato.
It's technocratic disillusion.
I like bullshit nerd tech.
Okay. But yeah, no, let me tell you about how streaming's the future, and so is folding
Let me
phones.
tell you about how motion controls is the future. Let me tell you about how remember when the Kinect was the future and like doctors were going to use it to plan out surgeries, and then that fucking fell off the face of the earth?
Yeah, you can't do surgery with that much input lag. That's fucking insane. You would kill.
Remember when they were going to make a special PC version of the Kinect, and that was never mentioned again?
That came out.
What?
I think you just used the retail units.
Yeah. But the original Kinect. Keep in mind the fucking Xbox One.
No. I'm talking about the Xbox One. They said the Xbox One Kinect would have a special PC version.
Oh yeah, that
because it had like a proprietary connector.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
And they just never mentioned it again after that announcement.
Well, see, here's the thing, right? Imagine a doctor's doing surgery, and it's a very intense surgery. This patient is writing the line between life and death. And then, out of nowhere, his fucking avatar on screen does, whoop, there it is! It shows the bottom of his shoe, kicking the scalpel out of the robot's hand, and then it dies. The person just dies on the operating table.
Or consider that the world's greatest surgeon is ready to operate. He gets into the Kinect motion control unit, and then it doesn't work because, oh no, the doctor was black. The Kinect doesn't work if you're black.
We tried to warn the black doctor,
you didn't know
but
that,
he had
KZ?
AirPods in.
The Kinect just doesn't fucking work if you're black or wearing black clothes. It doesn't. None of these motion control things that use cameras work well with black.
This isn't
the
fair.
funny thing is, like,
it's racist and against emos.
Even I'm like it's dark enough shade, so that a lot of the motion sensor Kinect couldn't sense me.
Yeah, it's true.
Bad.
It's pretty funny. It's funny because I remember we did a video. I think it was like the Sonic Riders one, and it was like, Bob's not a human, and I'm like, see, Bob, you don't have rights. You're not white enough.
It's bad.
There's gonna be some YouTuber who's gonna use the Kinect to see if you're allowed into his club.
Whoa! Oh my god!
He'll have one of those rant sonas.
I'm exhausted.
Hey KZ, let's talk about Castlevania Collection.
I like me some Castlevania. We talked in a previous podcast about the Castlevania Collection they were putting out that's going to celebrate the origin of the series, and as I predicted, I think most of us did, they're just not putting any Igavanias on this. It's just the classic style games.
Classic Vanias.
Yeah, initially they had announced Castlevania 2, Belmont's Revenge, the good Castlevania 2, as it was described, Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, and Super Castlevania 4, giving you hope that yes, not only will this collection,
they would not include the bad ones.
They would not include any of the ones that people that the AVGN got mad at. Thankfully, they revealed that yes, Castlevania: The Adventure and Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest are in fact in this collection alongside Kid Dracula and Castlevania Bloodline.
Why would they do it this way?
I'm so happy they did it this way.
Why
It's
would
so
they?
hilarious.
This makes no sense.
Mm-hmm. Bob, you know what can enhance Castlevania the Adventure?
What's that?
Input lag.
Yes.
That's the only way
Hey,
you can make
hey.
that worse.
How about input lag? But dude, immediately people are like, finally KZ Dan can play Castlevania the Adventure in 4K.
No, but if he wants the input lag, he has to buy it on PS4 because it'll be less on Xbox One.
That's true.
Here's our button to pixel.
Oh, you think you're kidding? You think I haven't already made plans?
No, I don't think you're kidding.
That's called a loaded joke, where I joke about it, but go, yeah, that's something Dan would probably do anyway.
Yeah, no, we're doing a Castlevania month. There's no reason I can't, in the middle of Castlevania month, be like, hello, welcome to our button to pixel of Castlevania, the collection.
Was
But Bloodlines is good. I'm happy that's in. Kid Dracula, good pick.
Yeah, both of those are really good. Is it the NES or Game Boy version of Kid Dracula?
I did not look. I can find out in just a moment.
As Dan unloads his gun into KZ and goes, "Who killed my co-host?"
Oh no! I don't want to die. I'm alive.
Then you should have known.
they get to they did it like this so they could announce like all the good ones
up front.
and then pair the two bad ones with
Two great
obscure
ones.
good ones.
Yeah. Well, I guess Bloodlines is obscure. I mean, it has a direct sequel in the franchise.
It does, but
So-
still, it's
That helps boost it a bit. It's not like
Yeah,
they-
Nobody played
gonna be the
Bloodlines because
NES
it was on the Genesis, and nobody played good games on the Genesis. They were too busy playing sports games.
the problem with Bloodlines is that it released too late. Okay, so don't blame the Genesis audience, please.
also
It's gonna be
the
the NES version going by the screens.
That's true.
You
It
know,
also didn't
color.
have a number. Yeah. That's neat, but like these fucking versions of Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge and Castlevania the Adventure aren't going to use the colorized Game Boy Color version, so why do I fucking care about color for Kid Dracula?
Nobody has ever done that. Even if you buy Game Boy Donkey Kong on like the 3DS,
Yeah.
it still doesn't use the Super Game Boy Color palettes.
Well, that's complicated. It would actually have to emulate a Super Game Boy and the Game Boy hardware within it. So I can understand there. This just needs to be a Game Boy Color instead of a Game Boy Original. And the Game Boy Color hardware isn't that radically different. But, that was only released in Europe. So there's a chance people would be like, this isn't my Castlevania the Adventure. And I'm like, why does it fucking matter? It's dog shit.
Dan, you could say the same thing exactly about you wanting that version.
No.
Okay, fair.
There we go. Yeah. I love saying no and winning an argument.
I'm excited for this Castlevania collection.
Bob, are you excited for this Castlevania
Of
collection?
course, I probably want to try and go for a platinum.
Oh, fuck trophies! Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
But no
This
bias
is a
here.
Sony branded podcast.
Please don't say that.
I'm excited. I'm probably going to buy it on PC, though.
If you keep calling this a Sony branded podcast, pretty soon we're going to have a segment about these salt and vinegar almonds.
What?
Oh my god, Dan, that is too deep.
That was the deepest cut that has ever been made in a fucking piece of content we've put out.
It scared me. I tried to escape it.
The gravity.
And PlayStation Blogcast is back and arguably better than ever.
I want to know about these other things on your list, Sid, such as salt and vinegar almonds.
Okay, so Clements has turned me on. He's turned me into a fiend
turned
for
him
these
on.
things. So he goes, just like literally 20 minutes ago, he goes, I'm hungry. Sid, have you ever had salt and vinegar almonds? Have you ever had the best snack food ever? And I'm like, okay, now I got to know what this is. Salt and vinegar almonds. He just produces a can of this.
Yeah.
He says you got to specially order it off the internet.
Well, because I couldn't find it in any California store.
Do you have
grocery
this
stores.
at your desk?
Yes.
Okay, I must try this afterwards.
Should I run and get it now? You guys
That
keep
would be a
talking.
live
tasting.
I'm
tasting.
down for this.
All right, hold
Okay.
on.
Wow,
I'll be
Ryan's
back.
bringing some real dynamism into this show.
Yeah, real time.
Because I love salt and vinegar chips, and I love almonds.
So I forgot to put this in the notes, but there is another piece of news from today.
What?
I read this
So,
in Discord. It's so good.
There's that one too, but this one is related to like collection stuff. The Genesis Mini announced its next 10 games.
Oh, yes.
There are going to be 40 games. The first set before were Sonic 1, Echo the Dolphin, Castlevania Bloodlines, Space Harrier 2, Shining Force, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Beam Machine, Toe Jam and Earl, Comic Zone, Altered Beasts, and Gunstar Heroes. A good starter.
Yeah.
The newly confirmed games are Earthworm Jim, Sonic 2,
Yes.
Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse, and World of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck.
That actually is pretty good. World of Illusion.
Yep. Contra Hardcore,
Yeah.
Streets of Rage 2,
Correct.
Thunder Force 3,
Yes.
Super Fantasy Zone, Shinobi 3,
Yes!
Return of the Ninja Master,
That's
and
good.
Landstalker.
These are really
These are
good
pretty
picks.
good picks.
These are really
And we
good
are
picks.
only
Not
halfway through the amount of games that are going to be on that $80 machine.
They're going to announce the last 20 all at once because they're bad.
Yeah, it's like we ran out of good games. Sorry, guys.
Turns out that was all the good
no,
games on the
no.
Genesis.
But this is looking really good. This is looking like a KZ does not need to figure out how to hack this thing because it's just going to have everything.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that they got some of the Disney stuff makes me think, I wonder if they'll just try to nab some of the Disney license games they ended up getting, like The Lion King or
Aladdin.
Toy Story or
Not
Aladdin.
Toy Story. Not Toy Story, please.
Maybe just Aladdin.
No, Toy Story is very important. I think you need to stream that and give it a chance.
You can enjoy the excellent game Landstalker, which sort of inspired the incredibly depressing PS1 game Alundra.
Oh, that's cool. I like the box art for Alundra.
Yeah, the box art for Alundra
Alundra's an all right game, but it's just so its story is so incredibly depressing.
But yeah, that's the Genesis stuff. Now, Bob mentioned that I put something in the chat here because there's another new piece of news. I think he can take it. He seems pumped.
They officially announced that thing that we saw leaked from a rating board before of River City Girls.
I think we talked about that last week. So it is from
Yeah,
Way
we
Forward.
didn't know what it was, and now it's officially revealed.
Yeah, they put out a PR release while we were recording this podcast.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Now, what I
Oh
want
my
from
God.
this...
I like the part where Arc System Works producers just like Way Forward's enthusiasm for a female protagonist won me over. It's like, yeah, Way Forward has a lot of enthusiasm for female
I want
protagonists.
Shantae as a Sukaban. I want Patty Wagon as a Sukaban. I want their version of Marion from Double Dragon Neon
Yeah.
as a Sukaban.
Yeah, okay. I'm digging all these. Okay. Yeah, sure.
I want to be able to power bomb a Bobo because a Bobo was already in the last Kunio-kun game they made.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for this.
Yeah. No, this will probably be
Extremely.
real dope. I like Way Forward stuff a lot of the time.
Well, what was the last? Way Forward hasn't made anything in a little bit, have they?
Since Shantae, I'm not sure.
I feel like did the Mummy game come out after that? It might have. They made a game for that Mummy game with Tom
I'm
Cruise.
fact checking us.
Yes, the
Figure out
Mummy
what
game
they've
did
been
come
making.
out after that.
And this year we're supposed to see Shantae 5 in this.
That's
It's
hype.
crazy.
Oh, they've done stuff constantly. I just have a warped perspective of time. Because Half Genie Hero was in 2016, and then we had the Mummy Demastered in 2017, and they're helping on Ritual of the Night. They're making something for Apple Arcade, and they're making Shantae 5.
How can you not say its name? It's called Spider Source. Those are spider dinosaurs.
Oh my god. So
also says they're making an Untitled AAA game?
sure.
Weird.
I assume every studio is constantly making one of those and getting it canceled.
I assume that must just be this, and they didn't know what they were talking about.
So Phil, did you celebrate the 6 years it's been since the PS4 was announced last month?
Oh,
This new gen
what's
started
your
too
point
soon.
here?
It hasn't launched long enough.
it has been long enough. It hasn't been long enough. Also, it was 2 months.
I
ago,
didn't
but-
like the games that were coming out, so it was too short.
You know, I think it's fair considering there was like nothing the first 2 years of that gen. I understand people's perspective of this gen getting fucked by that.
You're saying that this gen is too short? You're agreeing with those people?
No, I'm saying I understand their perception of time being warped.
Oh.
Oh,
See, I live
I
in
see
normal-
where they're
I just,
coming
I just
from.
want
They're
better
still
machines
wrong.
as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm tired of fucking load times. I want a fucking powerful console. That's it. this plays the same game, so who fucking cares?
I don't know. The first 2
It's
years
just
of
an
that
upgrade.
of this gen were bad, but they were no worse than freaking the last 4 of the last gen. Like PS3,
I want a
360, I don't remember
console-
being
The
bad.
PS3 and 360 were rough as shit. Hell, the 360 didn't have a good game until a full year after launch.
And then it stopped getting games at all. Like 3
Like
years
for the last
before it
3
ended.
years, yeah.
When we
Yeah.
have a console that isn't a piece of shit on any level, then you can start talking about the generation being too short. The
Right.
PS2's fucking load time started being a problem in like 2016.
What?
PS4, you mean?
PS?
The PS4, I mean. I mumbled.
I was, holy shit, Phil.
I
With all the shit I mispronounced, me saying the wrong number is what stymies you.
Yes, because I was like,
this one's important.
I thought you were making a statement about gamer culture and the elevation of gamer expectations, and then I'm like, what? I'm still trying to, and then you're like, I mean 4, and I'm like, what?
Look,
That's
just
why
make
I
a good
don't
like
console.
onions anymore.
Just make a good console that I don't hate any aspect of it like 2 years into its lifespan.
Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about one last thing during the PS5 segment. If that thing has that fast of a hard drive, guys, how the fuck are they aren't going to fit more than a terabyte on it. Is Sony going to go Old Testament and sell us proprietary cartridges to stick in our system to get more storage?
God, that's insane. I
It
still
is
don't
insane,
think that's
but
possible.
I think the corporation Sony is very capable.
I just don't think they'll do it. I just think they'll like deal with it. Just deal with it.
So Feels going deal with it. Bob, what do you think the solution is?
Maybe they get upgraded servers and they let us download things faster.
How does that help a
Or
person with
they'll
the
do
disc who has
some
to
kind
keep
of thing
reinstalling?
where
The installs will
They'll
be
do some
insanely
kind of-
fast.
maybe they'll do a thing where you can stick a hard drive in it, but it's just like storage, and if you're going to be playing a game, it has to be moved to the main one.
I mean, I guess it would be faster than installing off of a Blu-ray drive, but that's all you'd get out of that.
I mean, you will also, if you're going digitally, you don't have to delete your game and then re-download it.
Okay. Yeah, so for physical owners, that would make it so they didn't have to install it off of a Blu-ray drive, which is absolutely severely slower than any external hard drive nowadays. And then for digital people, they
And
don't have
this
to
would be-
re-download it. That's a cool idea.
I
I
hope
like that idea.
I hope it's this one, just so it's another step of consoles becoming more like PCs. We already have a bunch of games having graphic options for cinematic mode or gameplay mode.
I mean, I view that less as a reflection of PC and more of a reflection of people have two diametrically opposed expectations of games, either looking prettier or running better. And I really like that we're reflecting that more in options nowadays. The cold storage thing, yeah, absolutely. That works. I would buy a pretty large hard drive and attach it just to not have to install it off of a... Because you guys may not realize, but the PS4 absolutely could load things faster off of external, but they designed the architecture wrong, and it's bottlenecked by an insanely slow SATA 2 port.
Isn't it bottlenecked even on the internal?
Yeah. It's all bottlenecked severely.
By the way, Dan, you quashed my comparison to PC gaming, but you'll see every game will be like Mighty Number 9 on Wii U and have graphic options that do nothing.
I remember a lot of terrible things about that game, but remembering it just happens every once in a while that I remember, yeah, toggling those switches did nothing on like 3 different versions of that game.
Yeah, they just had anti-aliasing options in the console versions that did nothing.
And then Bloom that did nothing. It's like, what the fuck? Anyway, we got some more news from KZ. Who's our man on the street? KZ, what's new?
Joker's out.
Whoa!
No way.
It was announced on Tuesday with a video about him and the version 3.0 update, his stage, and then it was out the next day with a special mini game where you would attempt to update it, and there was like a random chance that you would be able to get it. Dan had to leave his house to go to Bob's house to make it so it would work for me.
Yep, I had to free him from the curse that was, update can't come out, Dan is at job.
I hate you. How dare you put this evil? But yeah, we talked about it. Joker's good. Joker is fun.
He's pretty tight, yeah. I like his custom victory screen, very awesome.
I like his Acid Rain.
I like his acid rain.
Very
It's hard
cool.
to pull off. I like the
Yeah,
part
surprisingly.
I like the part where he summons his fursona.
His what?
Fursona.
His what?
His he summons a giant humanoid bird that is referred to as his persona.
So I have another piece of news.
Okay.
It's incredibly minor. It's fighting game related. Mortal Kombat 11's almost out. They put out the launch trailer while we were recording this podcast, and it's really good.
Didn't they also put out like 20 character trailers?
They keep putting them out. This launch trailer's great. They recreated the Mortal Kombat song.
Oh no.
Okay.
I need to go
that's so
watch.
good.
Like the classic. I listened to a little bit of it. It's real good.
We're wrapping it up. Finish your news.
Test your might.
The other pieces of news, Square Enix announced Final Fantasy VII, a symphonic reunion. It's going to be happening on June 9th, which is that weekend of E3. You can get tickets for $77.77. It's a concert happening right before E3, just like the Kingdom Hearts one. So there's going to be a 7 remake trailer at that concert. Yeah. I'm at that betting money level of confidence on this one.
Yeah, no, that's
so here's
fair.
something I'm betting money levels of confidence on about Final Fantasy VII Remake. Final Fantasy VII Part 1 will be PS4/PS5, and then the other 2 will be PS5.
Yeah, it's a safe assumption, because by the time the second one would come out, well into the PS5.
I feel like it would all be
sense.
PS5, but somebody was like, they'll fucking gut us if we just if we announced that at the start of the PS4 and then it's not on there. Somebody will kill us.
After that trailer that ended, play it first on PS4.
I don't know what you're talking about. They announced that at the PS3 conference at the beginning of that
Also,
generation.
I also think it was
Don't talk about that,
PS4 and PC. So it's one of those ones where it's just get fucked, Microsoft.
Yeah, it was something interesting, but yeah, they're totally going to do it the same way Kingdom Hearts did it. I imagine that Sony's going to be pushing really hard on this. So what Square decided to do was what they did with Kingdom Hearts, where they're like, this game isn't at E3, but it's at this event directly next to it. It's a big fan concert, and the trailer will go online.
It's at that thing that's across the street from E3 and happens during the same time frame as E3. It's not E3 though. It's not E3. Just like EA. EA's not at E3. We're just having our own event down the road.
I got so upset with people were coming at me. 2 years ago, people were coming at me because Kingdom Hearts finally came back with like an orchestra trailer after a concert, and I called it the E3 trailer, and people were like, no, it's titled The Orchestra, it wasn't at E3, and I said, motherfuckers, if you go on this press site, it is called the E3 trailer.
Wow, KZ, that's a lot longer than response than I would have had, which would have been shut up.
No, I'm like, please let me describe why you're ruining my life. But yeah, I'm excited that we'll probably see a trailer for that in a couple of months. There is one more piece of news on my list.
I real quick, have they announced any musicians for that concert? Like, is Uematsu going to show up or anything? Do we know?
I did not see initially.
Yeah, is Noob Say
gonna be
is Noob Say Butt showing up?
Yeah, is he?
It might.
Cool.
Let's see. Trying to see if if they listed any, and I don't see anything on like the Gamatsu post for it. They said 100 musicians on stage, giant video projections. So they'll do the things they did with like Kingdom Hearts, where it's like they'll show cut scenes or visuals while they're performing.
For eternity.
Apparently, Distant Worlds is also doing a big FF7 push later this year for their concert, so it just looks like this is their way to hype people up now.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. We were talking last week about Star Wars, because Star Wars Celebration was happening, which means we get to see Jedi Fallen Order, which is Respawn's single-player Star Wars game.
Yeah.
I don't know why they had to include lightsabers. They're so played out.
Jedi Fallen Order has lightsabers in it. A lot of people were fucking flabbergasted.
Welcome to the not so subtle dig at Invignon's Twitter. Once again, I've put Invignon out of context Twitter account in the description. Feel free to go follow that.
Sad.
You should have not even addressed it. It's so much funnier if you don't.
No, he caught it last episode. He got so upset. He just went, oh. He reads the description. By the way, I forgot about making a joke about the lightsaber thing here, to be honest. Phil helped me through that. The game looks okay. I trust in Respawn. They make good video games.
Respawn is the only developer at EA I would trust to make a melee action game and it not feel terrible.
I'm like, ooh, a cool Jedi game with the like Titanfall-esque wall running, maybe?
Bob, are you ready for Star Wars month?
I am ready, Dan.
Avalon is writing, so it'll have a real good story.
What have they done before?
They did Fallout New Vegas parts of it, Knights of the Old Republic 2 parts of it. He's the good Western RPG writer that you hire to give credibility to your project.
Cool.
That's why they trotted him out for Dying Light 2 last year.
I mean,
And they were like, he's the one working on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2.
that's cool and all, but a deep story isn't really what I want out of a dumb Jedi game.
But what if it's not?
Well, I don't think
dumb
it'll
Jedi
be
game?
as deep as KOTOR 2, where it's like the whole game is about philosophy.
Maybe it'll be more than just generic.
I
It'll
want-
like get it past that barrier.
What I want out of Jedi game is Metal Gear Rising, and that doesn't sound like what this guy's gonna give me. That's
No,
all I'm
Bob,
saying.
they tried that. It's called The Force Unleashed. Do you want that again?
No, that was it bad.
He wants it good, feel.
Western developers can't do it good.
They can do it. You just gotta believe in them, you meanie.
PS5 launching with Parappa the Rapper. It's gonna have the tagline, "Gotta believe."
The monkey's paw curls because of what Bob said, and now this game is going to have a section where you pull a Star Destroyer out of space with the Force, and it uses both sticks for the QTE and is really poorly controlled.
I'm
was
okay with that.
Yeah, but it'll be raw when I see it happen.
Bob, I'm okay with that. Are you okay with that?
That was cool in the trailer for Force Unleashed, so it can be done cool in the game, I swear.
Yep, there we go.
When they were writing The Force Unleashed, they called up George Lucas and was like, George, we think a Darth name would really, an official Darth name from George Lucas would really help sell this story. What you got? He's like, I think Darth Icky sounds good. And nobody said anything. He's like, we're Darth Insanius? And then everybody stared at him waiting for it to be a joke, and it wasn't.
Oh no.
Darth Icky.
Yeah, George is special sometimes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wish we saw gameplay footage. I wish it wasn't just a cinematic trailer that doesn't give you as much
At
content.
E3, if we don't see gameplay at E3, then I'll start pulling at my collar and going, oh. But it makes sense that they'd save it for E3.
All right, I guess that's all I got to say about Jedi Fallen Order.
They said parries are cool.
Oh, parries? That's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, KZ, what do you have coming out in the next week?
Do you not want me to pull up more news? Because I can do that if you want.
Nah, we're good. This podcast is getting a bit long in the tooth.
Yeah. Certainly isn't my fault. Coming up this week, starting up Final Fantasy 15. Those are going to be longer videos, but more heavily edited because there's a lot of stuff to do in that game. A lot of quests, picking up frogs, fighting a big chungus. I can't get over the fact that one of the shopkeepers in that looks like Forrest Whitaker. It really bothers me. I could eat a horse. And yeah, Tales of Vesperia is going to keep on going. And that's about it for me.
Mr. Feel, I hear you're streaming now. Do you have anything coming out in the next week?
Yeah, I'll probably stream at least once or twice before the next, between this episode coming out and that episode coming out. At least once. I don't know what I'll stream yet.
Okay.
I'm sure I'll find something. I have 700,000 little games on Steam. I could just pick one.
The Bouncer.
I don't have an Elgato, so I'm safe.
The Bouncer.
Or a working PS2 right now, or a copy of The Bouncer.
Well, as I found out from some videos on YouTube, you don't need any of those things. All you can do is just boot up an emulator, not be able to use the pressure sensitivity, and thus lock off more than 2/3 of your fucking move list.
Oh, that's right. I'll do that. Thanks.
There you
Dan.
go. Yeah.
That's how I'll stream it.
Make sure you shit talk the depth of the combat while doing that too. Thank you.
I am glad we've given you a platform to attack people.
Who? Oh, I was gonna suggest Blinks the cat here, but he doesn't have an Xbox One yet. So
Another stellar game from Xbox Original, right, Dan?
Yes! A stellar No! It's got a cat
Blinks the
on it.
Cat got a sequel.
Blinks the cat is better than Sunshine. Here's why. I died in Sunshine,
Shut
and
up.
it made
Get
me
the
start
fuck
from
outta
the
here.
beginning of the level.
You know what? I haven't played Blinks the Cat,
Yeah,
so I
no,
can't verify
I-
if that's true or not.
I'm gonna be fucking honest. I haven't played Blinks the cat.
Maybe it's true.
Nobody
Maybe
played
you
it.
need to give that game a chance.
Actually, somebody else beat you to asking that little Gamba in the GigaBoots Discord. Bob, what do we have coming out in the next week?
I have no
Is
idea.
it a big old
It's not-
bowl? I think it's a big old bowl. Fuck you. I think that's all that's coming out in the next week.
Prepping for Castlevania month. Which
Yeah,
is
we're-
way too close.
We're prepping for Castlevania month and doing that live stream probably, and doing another live stream. But that's about it. You know, just check in on Friday, check in on Sunday, because we're going to be trying to get Castlevania month done without dying, and maybe playing Blinks the Cat. I don't know. There we go. We got through Big Think, guys. We talked about the PS5 and no one died, and this episode actually wasn't even longer than usual.
Yeah.
Weird.
Good job, everyone.
You know how that works?
How's that
We
work?
left the "What have you been doing this week" segment 28 minutes in.
Yeah, that does help.
We left ourselves room to go into the monolith.
Oh, good. So, okay, future advice, everyone stop playing video games. It's way easier
No,
if
I'm
none
going
of
to
us
play
are
more
playing.
now to spite you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. This show, like our other podcasts, is only possible with the generous time our co-hosts have given to us and the equipment we've bought to make it higher quality and easier to produce. Please consider supporting our podcast series on our GigaBoots Podcast Patreon, and look forward to more gamer premonitions and Big Think Dimension in the future.